Boker Tov. Good morning. It's a pleasure to see people filing in on this beautiful, if cloudy morning, as we have just another minute here together before we have the opportunity to say our official Boker Tov. I hope everybody slept well and that each of you is feeling good this morning. Just nice to take a moment and relax before we're ready. Yeah, nice to see and share a few comments on the incredible storm that passed through here last night, hopefully without making things difficult for anybody except giving a show, if you will. Boker Tov. Boker Tov from Temple Sinai. Welcome to our daily Sinai streams offering this opportunity each day to come together and to connect and to reflect and to remember. And so let me just make sure I'm totally organized here. Sorry about that. And in order to prepare ourselves this morning, let's join together in a few of our blessings. The first of them being Asher Yatzar. Let's join together this morning in the Hebrew and the English. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokma, u'bara vo nekavim nekavim, chalulim chalulim, galui v'yadua livnei chisei chodecha, she'im yipateach echad mehem, o yisatem echad mehem, אי-אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה, אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you have fashioned our bodies with wisdom, creating within us a finely balanced network. To stand before you in prayer is itself a fragile miracle. Eternal God, we praise you as the healer of body and spirit. And this morning, as a reminder that we're privileged to live in a time where Torah learning is available in so many different languages and then can give us access to so many of the treasures of our tradition, just like the words that I'm sharing on regular weekdays from Cheshbon HaNefesh, from spiritual accounting, are available in a Hebrew English format through Feldheim Publishers and through Jewish bookstores. Let's join together in the English blessing for Torah study today. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you sanctify our lives with mitzvot and command us to engage in Torah study. Eternal our God, may your words of Torah be sweet to us. Let every generation, young and old, the whole family of Israel, come to know you through the study of Torah for its own sake. Eternal God, we praise you as the teacher of Torah to the people of Israel. And as we've been doing for the last number of days, let's also join together in these particular 10 mitzvot that are so important to the maintenance of a healthy society. Elu dvarim she'ein lahem shi'ur. These are the obligations whose value cannot be measured. They nourish us in this world and help us to create the world to come. Kibud av va'em, to honor fathers and mothers. Ugmilut chasadim, to perform acts of love and kindness. Bahashkamat bet hamidrash shacharit ve'arvit, to attend the house of study morning and evening. Bahachnasat orochim, to welcome the stranger. Ubikul cholim, to visit the sick. Bahachnasat kala, to provide for brides and grooms. Ulvayat hamet, to keep faith with the dead. Ve'iyun tfilah, to pray with sincerity. Bahavaat shalom ben adam l'chavero, to make peace when there is strife. The Talmud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah is equal to them all. Having studied a bit of Torah together, we now join together in reciting words of Torah. I'm going to take just a second to focus, to concentrate, to think about the idea and the opportunity of unity as we recite Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meudecha. Ve'ayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'vetecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'kumecha u'kshartam le'od al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. With the challenges in our world every day and the specific worries and challenges and violence that we see even in the most developed societies and in our own. Let's also continue with what we've been doing this week and join in the translation of Sim Shalom. Let's join in these words of peace. Give us peace, goodness, and kindness, love, and loyalty. May these blessings come upon all Israel and every nation. Eternal God, source of loving guidance, bless us with your presence. Only in the light of your presence do we receive a living Torah, directing us toward loving loyalty, righteousness, blessing and mercy, life and peace. At each moment and for all time, may it be good in your sight to bless Israel and every nation with true shalom. Eternal God, we praise you as the source of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, oseh hashalom. So now we continue with our journey through these different elements of learning, of personal learning from Cheshbon HaNefesh, from spiritual accounting, from the incredible work of Menachem Mendel of Satanath, who, as a reminder for those who didn't happen to be here on the day that we began this journey, that he was born in Satanath in West Ukraine, in Podolia, and is an unusual figure because he encountered the Enlightenment that gave birth to modern and to Reform Judaism, and took those ideas back to Western Ukraine to find a way to connect modern ideas and Jews of all beliefs and practices, or at least I'd like to think of it that way. And so came up with these 13 steps by which we can examine ourselves, not once, but continue to grow. And so as we continue to learn about them, we'll see how deeply we go into them over time. But just a reminder of where we've been so far. The first two steps, or two midot, the two traits that Rav Levine offers us, seem to me very internal. The first is Menuchat HaNefesh, equilibrium, challenging us to rise above small events, whether good or bad, that are not worth throwing off our spiritual equilibrium. But after that, he talks about savlanut, about patience, that when something bad happens to us that we could not have avoided by being careful, we shouldn't make it even worse through pointless sorrow. And we saw after the first two, these internal states in many ways, that he turns to things more external. His third point is organization, or seder. Let all our doings and plans be orderly, each one in a fixed time and place, so that our mind will always be free to address what is before us. Right? He's not talking about a life that is locked down, that has no opportunity for excitement and spontaneity. Wow, I think much the opposite. It's to have enough order in our lives that when something presents itself in front of us, we can actually address it. And so for that reason, Seder leads in a meaningful way into chalitzut, into our next nida, our next characteristic or stage that we learn about today, chalitzut, determination, which could also sometimes be translated as diligence. In all matters, begin by calmly and coolly thinking things through. Once you have decided, get up and do it, and don't delay. It's quite an interesting matter. It's a two-sided characteristic that he's talking about here. These two sentences seem to point in opposite directions, and this is really an issue of balance, as he shares in the book. That first of all, that first sentence says that when we find ourselves facing a matter, how should we begin? It's so important, since God gave us our rational faculty, our ability to examine and investigate and understand, that we should calmly and coolly think things through. However, this trait is not for one who wants to spend their whole life in contemplation, because it says once we have decided, get up and do it and don't delay. I think the balance implied in this is described actually quite well by a parable or an example that he gives in his section on determination, on diligence. That's actually, if you have purchased the book, it's paragraph 83. He says, there are those individuals who take almost no time making decisions, seeming to deal with all of their matters through their impulses and response, through what he calls the vital or animal soul, without reflection. And so it's not good that we don't pause and reflect. At the same time, he says, and opposite this person is another kind of person who is educated and is quite fluent in some particular kind of wisdom or knowledgeable about a kind of action. This person, while knowledgeable in one area, may in fact not be as knowledgeable or practiced or ready in other areas. And so when something from another part of life presents itself to that person then thinks and reanalyzes and changes their mind and returns and takes more and more advice and expresses doubt without measure. And this person's tikkun is their kikkul. This person's measure to improve themselves, in fact, also tears them down, because such a person is without balance. That we cannot just respond every moment to that which is happening around us. At the same time, we cannot analyze and imagine and look at every conceivable possibility, because you know what? Neither I nor you can know every conceivable possibility. This leads to this particular problem I see quite a bit in the world today, what I would call perfectionism. Those who don't want to move until they get it right, which is something that in fact denies us the basic human need for trial and error. None of these characteristics that Rob Levine is sharing with us are intended to make it so we don't make mistakes. We make mistakes. In fact, if we don't make mistakes, it either means we're frozen in place or we're not trying. And so this trait of chalitzut, of determination or diligence, is one of balance. It says to us, don't just respond, think, analyze, slow down. And once one has responsibly done so and made a decision, accept that the decision will be right unless it's going to be wrong, and then get up, do it, try it, move forward. Otherwise, it's so possible that we can miss out on so many opportunities to do what matters, to make a difference, to be there for another person, to get up and connect with our tradition, because we're trying to find the perfect way to do it. Let's not worry about the perfect way. Let's find our next best step, consider it, and take it. Of the different steps, this is one of my favorites because I find it so challenging and so important all at the same time. As far as us understanding how it is that we can put our thoughts together here this morning, we've already taken the time to analyze and see that prayers for refuah, for healing and strength, for those who are ill and isolated, those facing COVID-19, those helping us live in a society that needs to manage in the face of it, for all of them, we turn to these words of refuah. Mishiberach Abotenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov ve'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel hu yirapeh et kol makotenu v'yiratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu la'chalimam u'lerapotam yishlach lanu mehera refuah shlema v'ateret shalom v'nomar Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who suffer. May it be the divine will to provide healing and strength. Reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom, and together we say, Amen. Oh, each day I really look forward to the opportunity for us to reflect together, and now it's time for us to remember. And so we turn to those who have died in recent days and weeks, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. And we summon to mind, if we're lucky enough to know them, their lives and their legacies, but at least we extend our condolences and our strength to their families in this difficult time. During the past 30 days, we remember Andrew Kosman, Paula Rich, Susie Mate Veda, Esther Siskind, Cheryl Okarofsky, Irving Coben, Julius Bell, Diane Novak, Bill Schmelzer, Ralph Rothstein, Anita Fleischer, and we remember all victims of terror and violence, including Amit Ben Yigal and George Floyd. And it is our sad duty to announce the death of Lillian Gain, mother of our members Paul Gain and Shelley French, and mother of Larry Gain as well. The funeral will take place Thursday, the 4th, at 1 p.m. graveside at Pardes Shalom Cemetery. And on your site today, on the anniversaries of their deaths, on this, the 11th day of the month of Sivan, we remember Gitla Gerstel, Lloyd Hawk, Nate Katz, Sarah Kadekel, Irving Korn, Barbara Larson, Edna Lester, Annie Lipschitz, Catherine Lucas, Alan C. Rose, Rosemary Samuel, Gidon Sharir, Marcia Silverberg, Doris Spire, Bella Weber, Irving Weaverman, Harold Wool. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing to us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled, as together we turn to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope. We take a moment now and we join together with those who are mourning in reciting Kaddish Yatom. Yid Gadal v'Yid Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divarach Hirutei v'Yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, B'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata le'amiran ve'alma v'imru Amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring comfort to all who are bereaved. And together we say, Amen. I hope today is a day of diligence and determination, a day where good things, where mitzvot present themselves to each of us, and we find the necessary reflection as well as strength of character to identify them, stand up, and to do them. Boker Tov. Have a great day.